Welcome to the Run It Back Podcast, where we run back everything from the 80s and 90s. I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah.
Buckle up, bitches, because we're going to take a ride to the land of red fucking flags. That is fear.
What do you mean?
what the fuck do you mean what I mean? Also, this might be the most sentence-enhancing laced episode we have yet.
I don't know. I got pretty drunk for Little Mermaid and said cunt several times. I cussed so much in Little Mermaid, I went back through it, edited it a second time, and took out like half of the F-bombs.
You're not going to be able to do that with this.
Okay, so to start off, Fear, I grew up watching. There's stories, we'll get to them later. Me and my friends were fucking obsessed with this movie.
Hold on. Couldn't get this movie anywhere, like streaming service, so we had to buy it. Right?
We rented it, yeah. But you say, you maintain and hold true that you've never seen it.
Never saw it.
Now, in a couple of months, we will have been together for 20 years, and I can't believe that I've not made you watch this with me. I refuse to fucking believe it.
Never.
There's no chance you just put it out of your head so
No.
you could live the rest of your life happily? Or...
No, I knew about the movie.
Uh-huh.
Kind of, but I've never watched it.
Okay.
Until today.
Right.
So like always, we've already watched the movie. We haven't played on mute in the background as we record this. But the movie kind of starts out, it's a little bit slow to get going.
It starts out with little baby Reese Witherspoon in the shower. She's so young.
The city view, like coming in through the city. You go to
Seattle.
A supposedly 16-year-old girl taking a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad working out. You meet the dog Kaiser. You meet
the stepmom
Lori and little
Laura.
brother.
Hot off the bat, we fucking said a name wrong.
Laura. Who is Laura?
Amy Brenneman.
What else was she in?
Judging Amy.
Judging Amy?
Judging Amy. She was like the judge. Get it? And the little brother Toby.
So you got like a blended family. You got the dad and his daughter, the mom and her son.
Right.
Nicole, Reese Witherspoon, comes downstairs and she's wearing like a
dress.
Dad thinks it's too short.
He asked the stepmom to take her shopping for new clothes, and the stepmom's like, that is new. But here's the thing. Her hands are down at her side throughout this, and it would pass the school dress code test. Like, the skirt's longer than her fingertips.
The school dress code test was bullshit because people have different length arms. Like,
yeah, my shorts always had to be, like, insanely long because, as you say, I have monkey arms that reach down forever. So I just wore pants because any shirt or any skirt or shorts were just going to be like geekily long. Her dress was fine. Dad was just being a dad.
It might have been a little short, but it wasn't like, oh my god, short.
It wasn't Margot short.
Might have been the same.
Margot
what else
dressed
with
a little
Margot's
risky.
was her half shirt kind of added to it. So Dad is an architect.
Yeah.
Working for this firm in, I'm guessing, Seattle, since that's what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
The city they passed through is.
She goes to school, you meet her friends. Margot and Gary. They are skipping school, like in the middle of the day, I guess. Skipping school and going to this, like, coffee house?
Restaurant?
Bar situation?
Area?
Like, they ordered chocolate cake, which I thought was weird. But there's a lot of people, a lot of smoking, some pool playing happening.
Pool playing?
Yeah, shut up. But Nicole doesn't want to go because you can tell she's putting off a very hard good girl vibe. She doesn't want to skip school. She doesn't want to be there. She's real uncomfortable being there.
And this is where she eyes some of the bad boys. And eventually, Mark Wahlberg's character, David.
Right. Her friend Margot sees this skanky motherfucker that we later find out's name is Logan. And then Nicole sees David, Marky Mark. Now, they don't actually talk to him at all. They just make little flirty eyes.
Yeah. So at this point, does Margot know Skanky Dude Logan?
No.
She just gets pulled in at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just all pulled in by their fuck me eyes.
So at this restaurant, coffee shop, bar for heathens.
Right.
There's flyers going around for a party that night called the Fetish Party or whatever.
Right, kind of a rave.
It wasn't really a...
I don't know, it was pretty...
It was just a party
weird.
in a dark warehouse. Raves are brighter.
No,
It's still in the dark, but there was no, like, glow in the dark or...
It was pretty weird. Like, the one guy had on a Star Trek uniform.
That's not unusual for Seattle.
Yeah, it was all weird. Anyway.
Nicole says she can't go because she has a family outing.
Right. Well, they go to Margot's house. She's kind of a latchkey kid. She lives there with her mom, but her mom's going out of town with some guy. You can tell the mom's not really invested in her life. But they're just casually laying by the pool looking at a Playboy. Margot's talking about what it would be like to be one of the models and how empowering it would be and how exciting it would be to have all those guys look at you.
It was a little weird, but, dream your dreams.
I reckon. Margot is Alyssa Milano. I don't know if we said that.
No, but are you okay?
No, you keep making me drink.
I didn't make you do anything. I made you taste it.
Oh, are you doubling down on you didn't make me do anything after watching this movie?
Yeah, look, I'm making it very clear that you did not do anything you weren't consensually up for. Because, spoiler alert, this is all the shit you should watch out for and fucking nip in the bud immediately. Because this fucking crazy asshole.
This is the reaction I thought you would have.
So,
the dad
Nicole's
gets called
dad
away on
picks her
business.
up.
Okay.
Well, Nicole's dad picks her up from Margot's. She's talking about she doesn't really want to go to this concert that the whole family's going to. And he's like, when have you ever been to see them? And she was like, 1985 when she was 6.
Yeah,
and,
with her dad and her mom when they were together.
But she's just trying to get out of it. She kind of wants to go to this party.
Well, he kind of guilts her into it, and she agrees, and they're all good. And then he gets called out of town on business last minute.
So he can't go, so she immediately goes to her phone and calls Margot.
He tells the wife he can't go, and she's a bit of a bitch. She was like, it was your idea. You planned the whole thing. You wanted to go. And he's like, I know, I don't want to go to this business meeting either, but, like, some contract's on the line. Like, he has to do it. And she gets super pissed. Like, big bitchy. Didn't you think her reaction was a bit over the top?
Yeah. I think they were just trying to show that he has to cancel a lot of shit, but his outfit's just fucking atrocious right there.
It's pretty rough. It's a plaid shirt, unbuttoned, 4 buttons down.
And it's tucked
loosely,
in weird. The back is tucked in loosely. The front is tucked in tight.
It's like a pirate blouse.
Maybe he was getting undressed. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird.
Game Boy.
He did say he had to go get changed.
Yeah. So he has to cancel. Everybody fucking
freaks the shit out.
So Nicole calls Margot. Nicole calls Margot. Says she's on. She's down to go with her.
It goes to what I'm still calling the fucking rave. Look at these people. There's flashing lights. It's a dark warehouse. There's like
maybe
LED people on the wall. These people have on like boas and bikini tops and sparkles, and I think there was a Santa somewhere, and everybody's fucking making out. Clearly people are on some shit.
I'll give it to you.
That person was dressed as a clown.
I don't think I was paying much attention first time. Oh, we got a...
Oh, it was very edgy for the 90s. There were girls making out. There were guys making out. But then you see Logan, who is the skanky friend, over there just kind of dancing by himself. And Margot's, let's go talk to him. And Nicole's not having it. So
alright, so this is Margot's...
She abandons Nicole and goes to dance with Skank Boy over here.
Yeah.
Nicole...
So you're saying that this is the first time she's actually talked to
that
guy. Okay.
Yeah. Nicole, out of place, is just leaning up against a post. And out pops David.
Oh, Creepy McCreeperson just saw his prize and fucking goes after it. Now, in the beginning, he plays it.
He's very
slick,
nice.
very nice, very polite, and a little bit reserved. Then a random fight breaks out in this rave.
Right, and he saves her.
He saves her, takes her to the roof.
Whisks her away.
He's trying to get the attention of his friend Logan. They can come up there. They get to the top of the roof. And she's like, how are we going to get down? And he's like, hold on. He finds a ladder to
a fire escape.
So they go that way, but everybody else runs across the roof the other
right,
way.
and she sees Margot, and she hollers for her. Margot's like, bye, I'll see you later, and just runs away with this guy. Margot, at this point in this film, is a shitty friend. Like, you don't abandon your girl at a party that you drug her to with this guy you've never seen before.
Sorry.
You just don't. You don't at 16, you don't at 21, you don't at 30. You never, ever abandon your friend. It's not okay.
Hoes before bros and bros before hoes?
I am. You've seen people in the club, like when that creepy guy gets one girl cornered and then
the rest of the group comes and saves her.
Friend mom swoops in and saves that shit. No, like, this is bad friendship. You don't do this. I'm not saying this movie's Margot's fault. I'm just saying she shouldn't have abandoned her right here.
No. So they get down to the
Well, David climbs down first. There's like a police helicopter circling the roof and shit. He climbs down first, and she has on the tiniest of skirts. So he's 100% just all up in that ass while she climbs down the stairs, right?
Yeah, but what else? To his defense, until this point, he doesn't have much choice because the fire escape's not very big.
I know, and he's just the sweetest at this point.
And it's one of those things where they don't really want people on the roof, so that the ladder's not connected all the way.
Right. She jumps.
At some point, she has to kind of let go and jump.
Right.
So they get down. They go. It's weird because they're going against the crowd.
Right.
And they eventually get to his car, and they go to somewhere on the coast in this bay.
Like this abandoned park bench on the side of the road next to the water. They talk about their backstories. And she tells him how her parents got divorced and she lived with her mom, but she was depressed all the time and she was more taking care of her. And then he makes up this backstory. You don't know it's made up at this point, but it's made up. About how his parents are together and he has this perfect family and the only thing they've ever fought about in their life was what kind of tea to have. Coffee or tea. Yeah, like this or that. Like, yeah, he had this angelic, wonderful childhood. But so he says to her, you're amazing. I've been told in my life, though, that if things are too good to be true, they probably are. Like, he told her up front. Which is exactly what she should be looking for. He looked her in the eye and told her. And she was just like, oh. She's like, you're just going to have to keep looking for my flaws. Well, no, he fed her that bullshit line so he needed to know one of her flaws so he could believe in her. Right. I roll. It worked. We're dumb. Y'all are dumb. We're dumb. At that age. At most. I feel like everybody's dumb at that age. Yeah. But she tells him, I gotta go, my curfew is at midnight. And he just takes his finger and, like, circles back her watch. Well, he winded it back. Yeah, okay. He's got a knife for changing clock times. Yeah. It really fucks everybody's world up. Mm-hmm. But right, was it before that where it cuts to the stepmom and she kind of checks her watch? Yeah, I think so. So eventually when she does get home, she comes home at 2 a.m. Yeah. The stepmom yells at her. She's like, my watch broke. What was I supposed to do? How would I even know unless I was staring at it at every minute? But here's the thing. You're know it's 16 years old. There's nothing you're out doing until 2 a.m. that's good or legal or reputable. Yeah. Like, you would know. Like, you might be off a little bit, but you're not going to be 2 hours off. Yeah, well, there's nowhere you should be that's going to be open till 2 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. Stepmom's just like, we'll talk about it in the morning. I'm just mad right now. And then she's like, while you're at it, go clean the makeup off your face because you look like a slut. Yeah. Now, in this scene here, they're sitting at the car talking to each other. Her makeup is very natural. It's very normal. Like, it's almost very like they were trying to show that she wasn't really very right. She has on, like, a pinky lipstick. She has a tiny bit of eyeliner smudged on her eyes and mascara. Maybe a tiny bit of, like, brown flesh-toned eyeshadow. But she has on, like, the tiniest amount of makeup. Yeah, if anybody should have had a problem with anything, it would be, like, the half shirt with the skirt. The half shirt and the mini skirt, yeah. But, I mean, that still doesn't really make you a slut. Like, and the stepmom should not have said that. Stepmom's just being a big bitch. Yeah. Well, she said she was mad they weren't talking about it in the morning, but
Nicole was going to bed, like, she left it alone, and she's had to get that extra jab in.
Mm-hmm. But they do a little making out on this park bench, and he goes down to read. What's the boob, like second base?
Sure.
And she stops him, and she's like, "I guess you found my flaw." And he's like, "No, that's just something else to admire about you."
The next day, Dad's like, "Hey, what the fuck? Why are you coming home at 2 in the morning?"
Right.
And she's like, she really just doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real excuse. She sits there. She lets him vent. She's just waiting for her punishment, really. But what I noticed is in his office, he had a shit ton of CDs and a CD tower.
Well, it's 1996. But he sentences her to like 2 weeks of kitchen and yard duty.
No subcontracting out, because apparently in the past she was smart enough.
Right.
That she I guess must have paid her little brother to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Her stepbrother.
And he tells her, "You need to apologize to Laura." And she says, "Yeah, right. I'll apologize to her when she apologizes for calling me a slut." And you see, like, anger kind of wash over old Dad. Like, that this fucking lady called his daughter a slut.
He's like, "Hey, you think you could have, poor word choice right there?"
Yeah.
And she's like all up in his ass that he needs to be harder on her, blah, blah, blah. Which...
he does.
He does a little bit, but...
But at the same time, she's 16. She gonna do what she gonna do.
Yeah. So there's...
They go to school next day, and David picks her up.
David picks her up, and they just kind of go...
They go to some place, they're like playing pool. It's a different place than the first pool place.
Yeah, they go out, and then they go to like a carnival type deal.
No, that's later.
That's later?
Don't worry, we will get to the carnival.
Oh, okay, I see that.
We're gonna spend some time at the carnival.
So, David comes over and meets Dad first, but he meets the whole family. And he is just...
Prince Charming,
putting on a show. Like, that whole, if it's too good to be true, then it must not be true.
He's super great to the dad. Well, the dad finally says, "You don't go to school with Laura, do you?" Because he's clearly a grown-ass man. And about that time, Toby and the dog comes up and he starts talking to the dog. And then Laura comes over and is hollering at Nicole that she needs to go plant these trees because she has yard duty. And he's like, "Oh, I worked at a greenhouse one summer. Let me help you." And starts talking about fucking different types of soil and shit. So he goes and does all this manual labor for her. So he's won everybody but Daddy over.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of winning Dad over, but...
I don't think he is. Because he's dirty from planting the trees. He asks if there's somewhere he can go wash up. And she directs him to the bathroom in the dad's office, which I thought was weird. Like, that has to be the worst bathroom to direct this kid to. And he's washing the dirt off of his hands. And Margot comes in and is
Margot is slutting it up for old Dad.
Talking to the dad about how he should come to the carnival with him. And she's like bending over, showing him her ass. And David sees him doing all of it. When Margot leaves, he tells David that Nicole's curfew is at midnight, not 12:05, midnight. And he was like, "You bet." And while he turns his back, he reaches down and turns the clock back again.
Yeah,
by half an hour.
Half an hour. Which ends up fucking old Dad up.
Yeah, he misses a deadline.
Go to the
carnival
and the roller coaster scene.
That's right.
I'll let you take it away.
So, the roller coaster scene is the famous scene from this movie, where he finger bangs the shit out of her on this roller coaster to wild horses. Because when I was asking if you'd seen this movie, I was like, "Do you remember the roller coaster?" Because if you did, like, if you remembered anything about this movie, it would have been that. That's, like, everybody's memory. So, growing up, this came out in 1996. I didn't realize how young I was until I started doing some math. I would have been 11 when it came out in theaters. It took a while for stuff to come out on, like, video then, so I probably would have been 12.
12? Maybe
13. But I had already seen it. I don't remember the first time seeing it, but I had already seen it. And I had the fucking VHS of it. It was so fucking old. Because I looked up when DVDs came out, and they came out in 1997. So I definitely had the VHS.
Did you rent it? Did you have to go to Blockbuster?
I probably
or did you
rented
go to an off... There was that one place in town that wasn't like a chain.
I probably went to the Movie Man.
The Movie Man. Oh, there were two places.
But I'd already watched it at some point. I just don't remember. But I knew I could not watch it in the living room with my mom. My friend was coming over. I knew we couldn't watch it in front of Mom. The only other VCR in the house was in my stepbrother's room. So we went up there, put it in his VCR. We could have sat on the bed, but no. We sat in the floor with like our nose almost on this fucking TV.
Did you see it in theaters before?
I don't know where I saw it.
But you had seen it before.
I had seen it before.
You rented it.
But I was like, she hadn't. I was like, you gotta fucking see this roller coaster shit. I'm like her fucking porn dealer at this point. And we're watching it and like, it's happening. Like, it's fucking happening. And my mom comes up the stairs to bring us something. And we pause the TV. And we stood in front of it like we were watching actual porn. Like, freaking out. We knew we were fucking caught. And Mom eventually went back downstairs and we were dying laughing. And so, what, like 20 years later? We still talk about that all the time. Now, what I didn't notice is that she kind of initiates it. She grabs his hand and rams it up there.
Now, he kind of set his hand on her thigh.
Mm-hmm.
Which her
legs were crossed.
She had a short skirt on because it was kind of like half over the skirt, half not. And she kind of grabs his hand and moves it to the middle.
And uncrosses her legs.
And they proceed to
finger bang it out. But she keeps pushing his hand up and up and up. Now, BuzzFeed did an article. 99 thoughts every 90s girl had during the roller coaster scene in Fear. There was nothing quite like that first time you watched it. So apparently it was everybody's porn. I mean, I know it says 99, but they're like one words. Mood music, which is, of course, Wild Horses. I'm pretty sure Wild Horses made every girl in the 90s horny.
Just because of that?
Yeah. Reese Witherspoon is so pretty. Oh my god, he's touching her lips. That is so hot. I want somebody to touch my lips like that. Oh, and touch my torso like that. Did he just nudge the top of her skirt? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, hello there, boobs. I want boobs like that. Also like her red jacket. She's so cute. What's he whispering in her ear? Whatever it is, it's making her smile. I want a guy to whisper things in my ear and make me smile like that. My tummy feels funny. Oh, they're getting on a roller coaster. This is so romantic. This song is so pretty. Oh my god, Reese is wearing thigh-high stockings. I want some. I would never be allowed to wear them. Whoa, his hand is really high up there. Oh, the way they're looking at each other is so cute. Oh, but this movie's called Fear. He's not a good guy, is he? But he's so dreamy. I feel all tingly. Whoa, Reese. Did he just... What? What is happening? He is. Oh my god. What is he doing? Is he? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah! But they're on a roller coaster. How does this even work? It looks kind of awkward, but sexy. Can the people behind them see this? Doesn't a roller coaster just like jolt you around a bit more than that? How do they even have time for this when roller coasters go so fast? Do people actually do this on roller coasters? I've never had a roller coaster ride like this. I think I'd be scared. Like literally, roller coasters are scary. Oh, they are really going at it. What does this feel like? Is she really enjoying it? This is really something. Ugh, the way he looks at her. Swoon, the way his hair is blowing in the wind. He's so dreamy. Oh my god, the way he just licked his lips. Is this what horny feels like? I think I'm horny. Whoa. Oh my god. It is right up in there. She's pushing him up more. Whoa. Oh my god. Oh boy. They're going down. This looks so exhilarating, but dangerous, right? Are his fingers okay? Couldn't he break them? His fingers must be okay. 'Cause he's like, yeah, that's right. And she's like, whoa. And I'm like, oh my god. Wild horses. I'm so thirsty. My heart is pounding. They're really going fast now, in so many ways. Wild, wild horses. Oh, it's over? What just happened? Did she? That was so quick. Is that how it happens in real life? Are they still on the roller coaster? I'm so confused. I need to watch that again. I pretty much nails it. It is very hot the way he licked his lips and looked at her. Just, you know. Just so you know, you can be psycho and hot. It's totally fine.
Yeah, apparently y'all like that kind of thing.
I mean, I did read an article in preparation for this about why girls like the bad guy type.
Why?
It had to do with a lot of stuff, like evolution, and that the bad guys are usually more outgoing and will get the girl, but then, like, the mating is quick and they move on. But I feel like we all go through it at some point, and then we realize that we have completely fucked up everything.
I feel like it's more of like an instinct of, this person, I've seen this person be violent and he can protect me.
Could be.
Like, and it's not always like beating somebody up. It could just be this person plays a sport or got into an altercation. He's not afraid to.
You know, we've been married for a lot of years. You don't gotta
wants.
hype yourself up or nothing, right? I'm fucking in this now.
But I think you get, in the time we live in, you don't need that.
No.
That caveman aggression all the time.
Right.
To survive. So it backfires sometimes with people like fucking David here.
Yeah. But after they get off the roller coaster, he's playing some game and he wins her like a peace pipe. And Margot and Logan are at the next booth, and Logan kind of has Margot up against a wall. They're making out. And while he's making out with her, like, looks at Nicole and points at her. And it was creepy and scary as shit.
Yep.
And Dad missed his deadline because his clock was set back a half hour. So he has to go back wherever the fuck he's going.
He has to go to Vancouver.
And he decides to take Laura with him so she's not a giant bitch about it.
Yeah. So they're going to be going all weekend, and Nicole calls Dave. It's like, hey, my parents are going out of town. And David's like, well, I got some other things to do, but I can be there later.
He's definitely doing some criminal activity.
And her dumbass gives him the security code to the house.
Right. She was like,
I might be in bed later.
Yeah. If it's real late, I'll be asleep. Yeah.
Like, you barely even know this dipshit.
Yeah.
Like, even if he was a good guy, she's known him for less than a week.
He gave her first orgasm.
But still.
They're soul bonded at this point in her eyes.
Like, she's known him for less than a week. You don't give him the security code.
He's weird about it too, right? Like, he punches it in. She's dead asleep. Like, this bitch is gonna get robbed and murdered. Like, she doesn't wake up. He goes through her house and looks at shit and goes in her room and digs through her jewelry box and finds this, like, daddy's girl bracelet. And then he gets completely undressed. She still never wakes up, and he finally pulls back her covers and wakes her up.
And just kind of slowly undresses. He's like, hey, how you doing? Just doesn't really say much other than that. Just slowly undresses her, and she just kind of lets it happen.
I mean, she was only wearing a bra and panties to begin with here. Yeah. In the middle of having sex, he says, I love you.
What? I thought that was fucking weird, too. Like, you've known her for like a week.
Fun fact.
Another red fucking flag.
Fun fact. Nobody ever says I love you at the same time. If one of them says I love you, the other one never says I love you too. They never say I love you at the same time. Throughout the entire movie. They both say I love you, but never at the same time. Which is weird, right?
That is weird. So
he nails her.
So then they cut to them coming out of school. Nicole told Gary, but was like, hey, don't say anything to Margot. Whatever. And they're outside, and
they hug goodbye.
They hug. Gary hugs her to tell her bye, but David sees this and fucking goes ape shit and beats Gary up for no reason.
He pushes him down and then just starts kicking the shit out of him. And Nicole comes up and tries to stop him, and he like pushes her back, but he hits her in the face and blacks her eye. And he's just kicking the shit out of this kid. And finally he stops and he turns to Nicole and tries to help her up. And he's like, come on. And she's screaming to get away from her. He's like, why? What? Come on.
Yeah, So this is a gigantic fucking red flag where this movie should have never happened. It's over. Like, call the cops on this fucking 23-year-old that just beat up a 16-year-old big man here.
I've said it before on here. It's from BoJack Horseman. When you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
Yeah, well. So she gets home.
To her credit, she does stop seeing him for a little while after that.
She did stop, but she gives her mom, stepmom, and dad a BS excuse about playing volleyball, and she caught an elbow in gym class.
Right. Her mom helps her cover, or her stepmom helps her cover up her black eye. And then, she comes downstairs, she has makeup on, and the stepmom's like, doesn't she look nice? And her dad's like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, you look great. And when she left, she was like, I gave her a makeup lesson, so she didn't look like a slut. Proving her point.
I don't know why they didn't, overdo the makeup before.
I don't know.
If they were trying to make that
she looks
point.
exactly the same, regardless.
Yeah,
before,
the
after. Same. They could have at least, I don't know, put some eyeshadow on her, smoked it out, something. Hit her with some blush. And the skirt she brought her to put on, just as short as all the other ones.
David gives her this bullshit excuse.
Well,
bullshit apology.
She goes to school, and she's talking to Gary, and just... How about the resilience of Gary's ribs to be at school the next day?
Is this the next day?
Yeah. Cause she just realizes she has a black eye.
Yeah.
But, he had to have broke the fuck out of his ribs, right?
Yeah. But, fucking David sneaks up behind her at lunchtime. He's like, who the fuck let this asshole...
That's a different scene.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this one, he just stalks her a little bit, sees that she's with Gary, and then writes her a note and puts it in her locker. So she just finds a note in her locker that says, I don't know, something like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's getting ready to happen. Let's see what it says, because I can't exactly remember. I can't begin to describe how sorry I am. Please meet me at Largo after school. I'll be waiting for you. And he waits, and she doesn't show up.
So he's pissy about it.
Right. And then it goes to his house, which is just a fucking, flop house drug den. It could have been a nice house at one time, but it's just, him and, 5 guys living there, and they've spray painted all the walls. These stoners come looking for some drugs with some bullshit code words. And he's just, they're clearly going to go do some more criminal activity. It doesn't really say what they're going to do. But, Logan's tell David we got to leave soon. And David's just laying on this cot in his bedroom. He's like, I'm not going. And the guy was like, you have to go. And he just kind of looks at him. You could tell, Logan seems to be the leader. But it seems like nobody wants to mess with David. He's the psychopath of the group.
Oh, yeah. They all know. He's fucking crazy.
And beside, on his wall, he has all of the, photo booth pictures of him and Nicole next to his mugshot.
So then it goes to Nicole and Margot at her house by the pool?
No.
Oh, she gets the flowers.
Yeah, she's at her house, and the florist delivers, a box of long-stemmed roses. And she doesn't even open it. She just walks it outside and throws it away in the outside trash can. And the stepmom sees it happen, but doesn't push or say anything. And then later that night, they can hear her crying from their bedroom. And the stepmom's like, let me go talk to her. And she goes up there, and she's, crying and telling her most of what happened about him, kicking the shit out of David and being this horrible person. And the dad just walks in and kind of ruins it. She was probably about to be honest about everything. It was like, he gave you the black eye, too, didn't he? And she's like, no, I told you what happened to the black with my eye. And the stepmom's like, hey, why don't you fucking leave and let us finish up here? And she's crying on her shoulder. She's like, throw me the tissues. And when he bends down to get the tissues, he finds an open condom wrapper under her bed. And he doesn't say why he's upset, but just loses his fucking shit. He said, whatever I've done to disappoint you, you don't have to destroy your whole life. And then just starts losing his shit. If I don't like what you're going to do or who you're going to go do it with, you're not going to do it. And she was like, I am living my own life. And he's like, not yet, you're not.
Yeah.
Really losing, but nobody knows fucking, why he's flipping out.
If he was going to find it and, pick it up, why wouldn't he just show it? Hey, we know what's going on.
The stepmom, leaves her and goes back and was like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? And he shows her the condom wrapper, and she kind of chuckles, and she's like, well, she is 16, what did you expect?
Well, she was like, oh, I get it.
She is 16.
Yeah. But he should have been like, hey, we know you're having sex. At least you're using protection. But keep in mind, this dude's an asshole.
This is a whole grown man.
Yeah. This grown-ass man's an asshole, and obviously shouldn't be fucking a 16-year-old. I guess it's only statutory rape, but hey, it's still fucking rape.
But Dad's little tirade about you're going to do what I say and with who I say, she's like, fuck you, motherfucker. And she goes downstairs, gets the box out of the trash, and reads the card inside.
Yeah.
And it has a strip of their pictures from the photo booth. So then she gets all sentimentally.
Sentimentally?
Yeah.
Sentimental.
Yeah, that too. Then her and Margot are by the pool. And Margot gives very bad advice. Like the worst advice I've ever heard anybody give. Anybody ever about anything.
But she's also young
Margot
and stupid.
Gives worse advice than fucking Hitler's advisors.
She's young and stupid, and I feel like she has kind of lived a little bit of this same experience. She's
had a rough life, I think.
Through the other guy.
Yeah. But Margot says, so he hit you. It's just an asshole's way of showing he loves you. And she's like, you need to stop worrying so much, or stop thinking so much. It's going to give you wrinkles. And she's like, so what happened? Did your dad catch you having sex with him or something like that?
No, she called it when Nicole was talking about her dad losing. It was like, oh, because he knows you're fucking him.
Yeah, he was like, he doesn't know. She's like, I caught you, you slut.
So their pool party is interrupted by David's whole shitty ass crew.
Plan, yeah. Which Margot's fresh off of learning that David hit her. I mean, granted, he didn't mean to hit her per se, but like clearly is this asshole kicked the shit out of their like mutual best friend.
Yeah.
And when they show up, she just goes off with Logan and like jumps in the pool. Like, as your friend, it is your duty to be like, no, get out.
Nicole tries to do the right thing. She goes out to her car. She tries to leave. And David's like, just let me explain.
Yeah.
And he gives her this bullshit apology.
About how he didn't know it was Gary. It was just some guy with his hands all over it, and he would do anything in this world to protect her. He's so sorry. He loves her. He just wants to be with her and protect her always. It probably would have worked on me too.
That disappoints me.
Probably not at 16. I feel like I was a little smarter at 16, but younger, yeah, it probably would have worked. We're dumb.
I couldn't have kids because I would end up in jail.
Yeah. We're dumb, and if you can make us come, we're even dumber. And he expertly gave her that orgasm. Because it wasn't like the 3 minutes that a roller coaster, like she came halfway through that roller coaster. I'm just saying. That was expert level finger banging.
Oh. So Dad comes home and nobody's around and everybody's out by the pool, including David.
Yep.
And he is like, what the fuck is up here?
Well, David throws Nicole in the pool and then he grabs the stepmom and kind of flirtily throws her in the pool too. And the dad's just sitting there staring like, what the fuck? And the stepmom was like, well, would you rather she lie and go see him? Because you made the rules. She goes inside and the dad's still just standing there like, what the fuck? And David, like, starts kind of kissing her, making out with Nicole. But
he's making eye contact with Dad the whole time.
Straight eye contact with Dad the whole time. Just, like, kissing up her face and her forehead and holding her.
Right there, I would have fucking destroyed him. You'd have been lucky if I didn't drown him in that pool. You're gonna make out with my daughter, making eye contact with me and threatening me. I'm gonna show you that this isn't gonna happen.
Did you see old Marky Mark in his prime when he took his shirt off a minute ago? I don't think old Dad had anything for him at that juncture.
Dad's got old man strength.
He's got a lot of rage.
He's got like 6 inches on old little man syndrome over here. But yeah.
Yeah, it was a very
I would have been like,
awkward move.
Hey, David, come over here, and just grabbed his head and flipped him over the rail. Right there. They live basically on this rock on the ocean. Could have fell down and been like, oh, it was an accident. He slipped.
Mm-hmm. But then you would have murdered your daughter's boyfriend in front of your daughter.
No, he doesn't die right there. He just falls and gets a little scuffed up.
Mm.
And then when it comes out, like, you already know David's sketch as fuck. So who are they going to believe? This guy? Or this 23-year-old who's fucking a 16-year-old. Because again, it's only statutory rape, but it is still rape.
So at this point,
Dad
starts doing
like some private investigation
Yeah.
shit on David. Figures out that his backstory's bullshit.
that he was actually in a bunch of different foster homes and jails and prisons and...
I don't think he was in prison. I think he was just in foster home. And
well,
arrested
later,
a couple times.
he was talking about the different places he'd grown up, and one of them was Rikers, which is a fucking prison, right?
Yeah, but he couldn't have done too much time. And Rikers would have been on the East Coast, so I don't know why they would have sent him that far away.
He doesn't hide his Boston accent in this movie. He doesn't have to literally be from Seattle.
Ah, it's true. Maybe. That would make a lot of sense to move the fuck away.
Yeah.
When you're fucking...
You saw how he spells ever.
Psychopath. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be started about that.
We will in a minute.
So, Dad rolls up to school, sees David picking Nicole up.
Right.
And he's like, hey, we need to chat. And they go around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's like, hey, this isn't going to work. You're going to stop seeing her. David just nuts up. Did he call him a faggot?
He said, you're really not a faggot after all, huh?
I was like, whoa. Whoa! Second time I go after, like, okay, say Dad doesn't have the capability to take David. I either beat his ass or take an ass whooping right there.
That's well, even if you could hold it in at that comment here in a minute, it's really coming, right?
Oh yeah,
because he was like, I know all about you. You abandoned Nicole. You're failing at work. You've probably lost it there. And you're definitely not keeping up your end of the bargain with the missus. Because if you were, she wouldn't be all over my stick.
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
So he puts his finger in David's chest and was like, you're going to fucking stop seeing her.
He made some threat, like, I'll end you or something. Just some vague threat.
So as Dad pulls away, David starts pounding his chest. And about the third pound, I go, oh. This dude really is fucking psychopath. Because I immediately called it, he's going to give himself a bruise and say that old Dad did it.
Yeah. He just starts beating himself in the middle of this fucking public street.
Yeah. And if any fucking dumbass 16-year-old could put two and two together, like this motherfucker destroyed your friend, he's going to let your dad punch him and not swing back? He's not going to swing back because he's got anger issues for fucking days.
He's just respectful.
Bullshit. Oh. God.
But Nicole busts through the door, goes to find Dad. She's like, what did you do? She was like, what are you talking about? She's like, what did David tell you? He was like, David didn't have to tell me anything. I saw the bruises. He's like, bruises? What are you talking about? And she was like, you didn't beat David so hard that he's bruised and sore in the chest. And he's like, I might have, and he was going to say, I might have poked him.
He should have finished his statement.
But he said, I might have. And she's like, yeah, you might have. And stormed out of the house.
Okay. You might disagree with me on this one, but I would have grabbed her by the arm and made her sit down and like tell her the whole story. Like, she's not walking out of that room because I'm already fucking pissed at this asshole. Like, he's fucking psychopath. Mark Wahlberg, to his credit, can do fucking crazy.
Almost effortlessly.
Spoiler alert.
Hold on. But storms out of the house and gets in his car and drives. Like, she waits. She knows Dad's going to chase after her because she's just standing by the car waiting. And when he comes out, she gets in the car and, like, David just makes eye contact with him the whole time they drive away. Like, I won, motherfucker. He goes back in the house and calls the cops and is trying to file a missing police report, but they won't take it because she left on her own. He's like, I don't care that she left on her own. She's a child. He's a grown man. You have to fucking do something. Like, tells him about his past and they won't do anything. So then they start having the sex in the car. This time she says, I love you. Also, Wild Horses plays again. Apparently Wild Horses is their song.
Alright, so at the end, David drops her off at her house.
He says, are you sure you can't spend the night with me? And she's like, I can. Dad'll kill me. So he drops her off and leaves, and then she looks at the house and is like... So she gets in her car and kind of follows him home. He doesn't know she follows him home.
She goes around the side to his house.
Right.
And goes to go in and she sees Margot dry humping Logan.
Is it dry?
Yeah, because she still had her panties on.
I don't know.
But behind her walks David.
They're in a chair in the middle of a room with people just
Yeah.
everywhere.
And David's like, come on. And old dude's like, hey, dude. And he's like, tell him you want me.
Yeah, like he has her by the hair, like pulling her hair back. And was like, tell him. And she starts crying and like he's clearly hurting her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want him. And he just picks her up and throws her over his shoulder. So slaps her on the ass and walks away.
Here's why I have a problem. Nicole did the right thing and ran away. Okay? Because if you can't save yourself first, you can't save your friend. Why does she not call the cops and be like, my friend's in trouble? Because she obviously didn't go willingly.
That's not how she saw it.
It doesn't fucking matter.
But it's not how she saw it. Because later she's very mad at Margot like she willingly fucked him.
She shouldn't be mad at Margot. She should be mad at
She shouldn't be mad at Margot, but she is. That's why she doesn't call the cops. Because she's not thinking, oh, my friend's about to get raped. She's thinking, my best friend and my boyfriend are fucking.
But still,
I know
you have to see that she did not want that. And like he pulled her by the hair up to his room to caveman fuck her.
She didn't see it that way.
Red fucking flag.
But old Logan, who seems to be the leader of their group, again, just this motherfucker's crazy and doesn't say anything. Because don't you fight for it?
Yeah, he was like, oh, I didn't want that dirty slut anyway. Like,
yeah. But she gets in the car and backs out of this curved driveway at breakneck speed, and she does a hell of a job. Hell of a job for backing out of this driveway at 16 years old. I was proud. But she goes home. Dad's like in a chair asleep, holding the phone, waiting for her, the police to call. And she writes him a note and puts it on the closet or something.
It's on his door to the bedroom.
The door, and goes to bed.
Says it's over.
I'm sorry. Yeah. He comes in to talk to her and she's like, can we just not talk about it? And he says, okay. And like, no.
At this point, she should have been like, hey, I gave this asshole the code. We need to change it.
Fuck me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Margot comes over.
Well, no. They go to school and she's eating lunch with Gary.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when David sneaks up behind her to surprise her at lunch.
Who lets this fucking grown-ass adult into the building? Like,
multiple times.
Like, at this point in time, you could have probably walked into a school.
Right.
But you're not going to walk into the cafeteria unnoticed. Like, somebody's going to be like, hey, sir, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what is your business here? And he's like, oh, I'm going to go talk. Like, no, you can go wait outside. I'll go get her and ask her what's up.
Yeah. But she asks Gary if Margot was in, like, bio or something. And he was like, no, she called and said she was sick. And she said, well, at least she's honest. Because she's mad at Margot. But David surprises her and comes up behind her. And she just starts screaming.
Which is the right thing to do.
Just scream and get away from me. And he's like, what? Like, he has no idea what's going on.
She tries to get up and run away, and he grabs her.
And Gary grew the biggest set of balls after already taking one ass kick in here.
But she had to scream like 3 times. And Gary's when she got up from the tables, one of those long tables with just the benches, so she walks down. There should have been multiple people get up before Gary could get there.
Well, they all saw this guy kick the shit out of Gary, so... But Gary was like, let go of her, and kind of gets between them. And he lets go of her and leaves, which was kind of amazing. Too many witnesses. Yeah. I mean, weren't there enough witnesses outside the school that should have probably got him?
Like, hey, who is this dude that beat you up? Where can I find him? Oh, you're 23 and you're beating up a 16-year-old? Charges.
Yeah. So then Margot comes to her house. And she's clearly been going through it. Margot looks like a washed up dish rag. She has clearly been crying. She's upset. And she doesn't say anything to Nicole about what happens. She won't talk to her. She won't let her talk to her little brother. She goes outside and Nicole's just fucking a bitch. She's like, you're just going to stay in there like nothing happened? And she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, who told you? Did David tell you? And she's like, Nicole's like, you're not my friend anymore. And storms inside. And she was like, he forced me. You have to see that he forced me. He forced me. You can't do this to me. You're my only friend. And is just super fucking distraught.
And Nicole, it was a little too late, but she was coming back outside. But by then, Margot was
driving. She said, I need you. Which is just so sad. Like, they're the worst friends to each other.
But, okay. I kept asking you, when did Margot know these people?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, man, that is a fucking terrible friend to bring somebody else into this world.
No, she didn't.
But she was just in the same boat, basically.
Yeah.
So
Margot drives away.
Yeah. So why does the guy at the gate keep letting David in?
It's the boyfriend.
I don't give a fuck. And is this like a gated community, or is that just a gate that leads to their house?
I mean, it seems like it's just to their house, but I'm
like
sure
maybe
it's just a community.
a couple houses along that coastline.
Yeah. I mean, he's seen David come in with Nicole and with the whole family, and so I mean,
so it cuts to David, and he's obviously just cutting himself up in the chest.
Well, no.
Something happens between there.
Oh yeah, a lot. So Margot drives away, and David comes up behind her, chases her and hits her car and like runs her off the road. And she's crying and screaming, and he gets out and like grabs her out of the car. He's like, "What the fuck did you say to Nicole? What did you tell her? What did you tell her?" And she's like, "I didn't tell her anything. I don't know how she knows, but she knows." He keeps calling her a lying fucking whore. And then he's like, "You better fix it or I'm gonna hurt you," and throws her back in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just sits there and bawls. It's very, very sad. David goes to Nicole's house, and the dad answers, and he's very polite, like he hadn't been a fucking psycho, and was like, I need to apologize to you and Nicole and your entire family, and I really, just please let me explain. I really think you'll understand after you let me explain. And he was like, "I'm not interested in your apology or explanation. I'm interested in keeping you away from my daughter." And he closes the door in his face.
Yeah. So then it cuts to David?
Yeah.
So David's in his bathroom, and he's just cutting in his chest. You can see a little bit of blood. And you're like, what the fuck is he doing? Then he grabs his ink pen and proceeds to give himself a prison tattoo.
Yeah.
And smears the ink all over his cuts. And when he washes away, it says Nicole for the number, and then Eva.
Nicole forever.
And I was like, this fucking douchebag. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, his whole torso.
So, you see Nicole and Gary walking outside of school. School's ended. It's kind of like the same scene that you've seen a couple of times.
First, Dad drops her off at school. And Gary walks her in and they hug and David sees it. And then after school, Laura picks her up because they're not letting her be alone.
Yeah. And they're going to go to the mall.
They offer him a ride home and he doesn't take it. So he's walking home through the fucking woods like goddamn Little Red Riding Hood.
And old Big Bad Wolf chases him down.
Yeah. David grabs him and they're just kind of talking. I mean, very menacingly talking.
Oh, yeah. You knew he was going to beat the shit out of him.
And then he pushes him down and Gary just gets up and starts running.
Can I point out that Gary did the thing that all other people do not do? He did not even reach back. When he gets pushed and he falls down, the backpack falls off. He didn't even turn to look at the backpack. He said, "Fuck it, I'm going." He started running immediately, which was the smart thing to do.
Right.
But fucking prison workout caught up to him.
And just snaps his neck.
And fucking wrangles him down and snaps his neck.
That's a lot of strength.
So there's the first confirmed kill.
He breaks his neck, and I looked over at you, and your eyes, like I wrote Jason's eyes in my note. Your eyes were fucking huge.
Well, I knew it was going to happen, and I was just like, I think it wasn't surprise, it was more like rage. Like, this should have like all the red flags and all the signs were fucking there the whole time.
Right.
Like, it's fucking Book of Eli. Like, you should have known the whole goddamn time.
Then it goes to Dad. He's getting out of a meeting. They're walking into the parking garage, and he has this red Mustang that he loves.
Like the classic 1964, 65.
And it is beat to shit. And there's a note on the windshield that says, "Now I've popped both your cherries."
Like, you're already pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I'm going to go to jail for a little bit. The note says, "Oh, I'm never getting the fuck out." Like, oh. Jesus fucking Christ.
So Dad cons some work friend into giving him his car. He's trying desperately, like on the car phone, trying to find Nicole. Nobody's answering at home.
David has followed David is a fucking...
expert stalker.
He had time to go off, kill Gary, and somehow find them at the mall, which I don't really believe.
He also, at some point, trashed a Mustang.
The Mustang could have been earlier in the day.
I'm just saying, at some point.
That's feasible. That's earlier in the day. But the fact that they left from school, were going to the mall, and he follows Gary.
They could have been at the mall for a while. Like, they were sitting down in the food court eating.
They could have been shopping. He doesn't know. This is a fairly decent-sized place.
Well, he probably
There's
heard
no
her
way
say,
he finds them in this amount of time.
He probably heard him, because when Gary's talking to her getting in the car, she says, "Are you sure you don't want to go to the mall with us?"
But I think David is still in his car, like sitting like a block back at this time. He's just watching.
No, he's outside the car. He's standing back, but he's watching them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he probably just heard him. Either way,
it's hard to get there. But he stalks her. They're at a like food court. They're eating. Nicole decides to go to the bathroom. He makes his way into the bathroom with her.
Right. She comes out of the stall, and he says, he has her up against the stall. She screams. He covers her mouth. And he says, "You have to believe in me. You have to trust the one part of you that knows me." And he grabs her ears, and he's like, "It's not what you hear." And he touches her eyes, like, "It's not what you see me doing." And then he was like, "It's what you know," and like grabs her vag.
This is what, like...
Yeah, it was very weird. He was like, "Everybody's just trying to keep us apart. You have to see that."
Yeah. Red flag.
Yeah, it was very creepy. But somebody else walks into the bathroom, thank God, and he leaves, and she just starts screaming for help.
Yeah.
But Dad, in the meantime, has been in this guy's car, calling around. He can't find them. He calls Margot. She doesn't know where she is, and he says, "Do you know where David lives?"
Yeah.
So he goes to David's house. He goes to his room. David's room has a padlock on it.
He knows instantly that that's fucking David's room, too.
Yeah.
Because he's looking around, he sees the door with the lock, and he's like, it's like the Target thing. It's like,
yeah. He breaks in. He has, like, a book safe? Like a safe that looks like a book or like a little treasure box.
Well, he's also got his pictures on the wall of her, but his shrine on the mantle.
Yeah. But he busts open this safe, and it has a family picture that he's stolen from the house.
Which he's kind of cropped out Dad and put himself into.
Right. The pair of panties she was wearing when they had sex. The daddy's girl bracelet that he has modified to say David's girl.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's what Dad takes
Dad
back.
at this point says, "Get wrecked."
Dad gets enraged. He destroys his room, then he goes downstairs. He destroys everything. He destroys the pool table and the drum set. He destroys everybody's everything.
You just know that he destroyed David's room. When they come home and you see everything else, other than the shit they already destroyed, you're like, he fucking wrecked this.
Like, doesn't your rage subside a little bit before you can wreck an entire house?
Nah, see, I might have cleared the shelf, but that house is on fire before they get back. It's too much work to do all that shit. Fire will take care of it for you.
Yeah. But he calls the cops from his house, and he's like telling them about all this stuff. He's like, they're running a little cartel. And he assaulted her in a public bathroom. Like, how can you not go charge him with something? And he was like, nobody gives a shit about your warrants. But, like, the cops just aren't going to help. Aren't going to do anything. But meanwhile, this clan of fucking thug guys come home and see that their whole house is fucked up. They're like, somebody has to know who did this. And he's like, I know who did it.
Yeah, that... where old Dad said get wrecked, David was like, all right, motherfucker, you suck, get good.
Yeah. So they're in the car doing this whole eye for an eye.
Tooth for tooth.
Yeah.
But he's smart enough to know that they're not going to go through the gate.
Right.
He has them pull off to the side and they walk through the woods to get to Nicole's house. But in the meantime,
the doorbell
Margot
rings
has showed
and you
up.
think it's him until the mom opens the door and it's Margot. And she's fucked up. She's bawling, crying because they found Gary dead.
Yeah, so she breaks the news that Gary was dead. And everybody in this fucking house, whether they want to admit to it or not, actually, Nicole's probably the only one that doesn't want to admit to it.
I think even Nicole at that point
knows who did it.
I think he knows.
We got confirmed kill number 2.
So Dad calls the fucking cops back.
No, he's still on the fucking phone with them.
And he's like, well,
like,
you don't care? Well, how about you connect me to somebody that solves murders?
Yeah.
Yeah. But while he's on the phone with him, the phone goes dead.
Yes.
Now, you see the dog, like when they let Margot in, the dog ran out. And it knows David now. So David's yelling for the dog, and he walks over there. The little boy's in the house, blowing the dog whistle, trying to get it to come back. And the dog's head comes through the doggy door, and the little boy walks over there, and then they just push the head through the doggy door. Like they have decapitated
this fucking dog.
They decapitated this German Shepherd.
Red flag!
I think we're past red flags at this
No,
point.
they keep coming. They keep coming. It's like fucking Oprah's handing them out in this fucking movie.
So the dad goes, oh, the phone went dead. And then some random guy sticks his head through the doggy door and was like, and you're next.
Yeah.
Laura's trying to get the security alarm to work. Like, she keeps hitting it, but nothing's going on. And he was like, it's not going to. It goes through the phone line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, and they kind of do here in a minute, he's obviously done well for himself. And he's always on these projects and doing work. I feel like he's got one of those fucking Zach Morris fucking cell phones somewhere. Why do they not try to use it?
You would think, yeah.
So, now...
he rings the doorbell. No. They're talking about how secure the house is.
Because he built it.
And, the glass is bulletproof and the door, nobody can get in without the code. And then it's like she remembers all of a sudden.
She's like, I gave him the code.
David has the code. And he's typing it in and the door unlocks and Dad runs to the door and pushes it shut and locks it just in time. But then they have this conversation through the peephole where he's like, you can't disrupt the natural course of nature. It's happening whether you want it to or not. And then gets real creepy. He's like, so let me in the fucking house!
Yeah.
Now apparently that wasn't in the script. And he just did that, joking. He didn't think they would keep it. And they were like, oh shit, that was really good.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah. And, spoiler alert, when there's the gigantic hole in the main door, and he just kind of leans in, and he's like, Laura. Whatever, she doesn't fucking matter.
Well, they had a connection. Like, she knew what was up.
So...
he sends the kids up to Nicole's room. And Logan is just on this glass roof, grabbing his dick, pointing at Nicole again. Like, he creepy as shit.
When they started going in, David made it very clear that Nicole was not part of this game.
Right. But Logan doesn't care.
Logan doesn't care. He's pissed. So he starts pointing
Logan's
at her.
always had a weird situation with Nicole anyway. Like, he's always pointing at her. Yeah. And then, David kind of took Margot off of him. So,
and also, while we're at it, this motherfucker built this house. He fucking bullet-resistant glass at least. Mm-hmm. Like, it's taken a while for them to shatter this glass. There's no panic room?
I don't know that panic rooms were a thing in 96.
Yes, the panic rooms have always been a thing. The Greenbrier was built... When the fuck was it built?
Long time ago.
And there's plenty of bomb shelters that were built before then. And this dude built this house so
I did not notice, sorry. It's in the background.
The little Chucky looking doll?
Dad is... No, it is Chucky. Dad is in David's room going through the thing. I didn't notice that he had put Nicole's face on... Is that the fucking Virgin Mary? On this,
I wouldn't doubt it.
16 by 20 poster above the mantle?
Wouldn't doubt it.
It's the Virgin Mary with...
David's girl.
With her picture, her face on it. That's wild. And he's got, a married, the thing on the top of a wedding cake. That's creepy. But so, they get a drill. The bad guys get a drill and start drilling through the glass.
Dad takes a fire poker and just whacks the dude's hand. The drill drops, he kicks it away.
Logan goes, an eye for an eye, right, Mr.
Walker?
An eye for an eye, right, Mr. Walker? And then Laura's like, what the fuck does he mean by that? And he's like, it's not real fucking important right now, okay? You see a shadow, Margot's losing it. Nicole's over there calming her down.
They're up in her bedroom.
The little boy sees somebody's shadow coming through her window.
And he's like, Nicole?
And Nicole gets, this giant umbrella and pushes him, pops it through the window and knocks him off of the
He's on a ladder or something.
I think it's he shimmied up the drain pipe. And knocks him down. Nicole sees, when she does that, she sees the guardhouse all lit up. They've turned off all the lights to the house, so they don't know where they're at in the house.
This was another thing that she did with, well, the first thing that she did was
the first
smart.
thing she did right.
She starts flipping her light on and off.
Yeah, to get the attention.
Just keeps doing it. And security guard just kind of looks around and sees it. He's like, huh. So he tries to call the house. He doesn't get any answer, so he's like, I'll go check it out.
Right. Meanwhile, they have an axe that they're axing through the door with. And they have furniture and refrigerators and shit pushed up against things. And Laura picks up the drill.
The guy has his hand through it. He's about to undo the deadbolt.
Yeah, drills through this guy's hand. But
what she should have done was keep going, because he's not going to be able to pull his hand away very easily. Keep going, let the drill bite into the wood, and then unchuck the drill. Then he's got to pull his hand out and off. And I don't think at the angle he was at, I don't think he was going to be able to pull his hand out and off. So he'd be stuck there.
Right.
And you could probably chop his arm off.
Well, I mean, even at that point, he's like, I gotta go to the hospital, and runs away.
I don't think he ran away, did he?
He did, yeah, he runs away.
Well, the dude that fell off the ladder or the trellis or whatever, he fucking rebounded like a champ.
Yeah.
One of the guys sees the
security
car.
guard, Larry's coming. And David walks out and meets him in the middle of the street, and the security guard's like, what are you doing? Stop where you are, hands on my car. And he's like, I'm just coming from seeing my girlfriend. What's going on? And Logan sneaks out of the bush and tries to hit him over the head with a pipe, but
he heard the leaves, like anybody rolling, because it's kind of like beginning of fall there. He probably heard sticks crack or leaves. He ducks, rolls out. He's got 2 guns.
Yeah, one for each of you. I feel like he's like ex-police, because he seems better skilled than just a security guard. I also feel like these people could afford the finest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the guy that fell off the ladder comes up behind him and shoots security guard Larry. And then they get the drop. Like, Dad comes out because he sees the security guard coming. So now they have Dad captive.
Does Nicole see kind of... She sees them bringing Dad.
Through the window. They see Dad coming through.
Toby's like, hey, I can get to Laura's car phone.
Earlier, they had axed a giant hole in the door. And the husband is yelling through the door, don't let them in. Yeah. Doesn't matter, don't let them in. And they're like, we have a different take on things. And, like, lines him up perfect so you can see that he has, like, a gun under his chin and a gun to his head.
He basically says, he's like, we're coming in, but
it's
you
up
need
to
to
you
whether or not he's coming with us.
Yeah. And she's undecided about what to do. And then this is where you came in. That David just moves his head over and stares at her, real somber, is like, Laura. And she's like, fuck, and opens the door.
He does crazy well.
Now, this is where we had an argument in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Don't fucking open the door.
I have to.
No.
I would have to.
No.
I would have to.
Do not.
I could not live the rest of my life knowing that I could have opened the door and we could have got away somehow. But I just watched them shoot you. But it's like they said, they're coming in either way.
One person dies, or everybody dies.
No,
because they were not going to let everybody live.
They're coming in either way. It was just dependent upon if you were going to come with them.
They were having a hard time getting in.
I feel like we would have had a better chance together than I would have alone had I let them kill you.
Do not open the door.
I would have to.
Do not.
I would have to.
No.
I would have to. If you were a zombie in the apocalypse, I'd let you eat me. I couldn't shoot you.
Shoot me.
I couldn't. I think I've talked about it before, but I've had that reoccurring dream where the dogs are zombies, but I can't kill them, so I just keep them in their kennel and feed them weenies through the holes in the crate.
Why weenies?
I don't know, because it's flesh-like.
You never feed them.
They fit through the holes perfectly.
So is this where Toby's like, hey, I can go?
Well, they bring them in, they handcuff them, they find some tape, they tape the parents' legs together, and then Toby's like, hey.
No, he says that right before they come in, because he goes across the hall upstairs as everybody's coming in.
Nicole says, if only we could get to Laura's car phone. And he goes, I can fit out the window in my bathroom. Which means he has done it before.
Yeah.
So she sneaks him over to his bathroom, and he sneaks out the window.
He sneaks out the window and is going around the house, but they sent the dude that fell off the roof or trellis, whatever, to just be a lookout.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to avoid him, and Toby is trying to get the car phone to work, but he can't do it because the car's not on.
He jumps down and that guy hears him, so he goes kind of looking for him. He starts the car to get the car phone to work as that guy opens the garage.
Which he shouldn't be able to open the garage from the outside.
You wouldn't think. So he just throws that shit in reverse and backs all the way over him, like Toby did. Toby is the fucking hero of this entire shit.
I mean, he might have wanted to pull forward and run him over again. But if I'm a little kid. Toby is our kid, he is driving away as he's calling 911.
Yeah.
Okay? He is getting out of there because, again, if you can't save yourself, you can't save everybody else.
He opens the garage and then he shoots through the back glass.
Yeah.
And Toby just puts it in reverse and runs over him. And then stops and calls 911. And he goes back inside through the front door because just Mom chained up. I don't know why he doesn't go. Well, hold on.
Oh, he got her loose. She shows him the handcuffs.
Yeah, and he goes back out to get the handcuff key from the dead security guard. But Mom is on the couch by herself now because David has come in and got Dad.
So he could give away the bride.
Yeah. And he takes him upstairs and walks into Nicole's bedroom to Logan, like ripping her shirt off and like full on between her legs getting ready to rape her.
And just fucking shoots him. He doesn't say, hey, stop. No.
Shoots him right in the head.
Hey, he knew the rules to the game.
Now, Margot had tried to stop him as well, and he beat the shit out of Margot. Logan did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, David didn't give him any warning or anything. No. He just held the gun up and said, pow.
Yeah.
Logan had no idea he was there.
Yeah. Confirmed kill 3. Confirmed
kill number 3.
Yeah. So now we have Gary, the dog, and Logan that this motherfucker's killed. So he has Dad like down on his knees and he keeps pointing the gun at his head. And Nicole keeps screaming and stopping him. And he's like, do you not want to go away with me? You want to go away with me, right?
She kind of tells him what he needs, what he wants to hear.
She says yes, to get him to stop. And he's like, okay, then this is how it has to be. And he goes to shoot him again. She's like, stop, David, stop. Like, trying to be like, I'll go away with you, just don't kill my dad. And he goes over and he's like, I'm sorry that this is how it has to be. This is just, this is how it has to be if you want to go away with us. And he's going to hold us back. He wants you to be his little girl forever. And meanwhile, he scoots back. The mom comes up the stairs and unlocks his handcuffs too.
Yeah, he's scooting back, and as he's scooting, I don't really think he knew what was happening until he felt the handcuffs moving. So he knew, not to move.
Right.
So he gets up and goes at David.
He jumps up and goes at him, but David, spotty senses him and turns around and smacks him in the face with the gun.
Yeah, backhands him.
Yeah. Nicole picks up the peace pipe that David won her at the carnival.
Well, right before this, there's a Dad and David are struggling. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, bitch. If you can't do much, you can at least be a distraction. Jump in there. Take an elbow or two. You've done it before.
Yeah.
Help your dad. Your dad just needs a little bit of an edge.
But she grabs that thing that he won her at the fair and stabs him through the fucking back with it.
Which she should have done repeatedly until she was out of breath.
Yeah. But then she just plants herself up against the wall as her elderly father and muscle-bound boyfriend fight some more.
Yeah.
They're slamming each other against walls and shit. And finally, Dad gets it angled right and slams David through the window. He falls through the window down 3 stories and lands on these jagged rocks by the ocean.
No, I don't think this is the window that was already broken.
No.
So it makes it a little unbelievable.
It may have been the window that was already broken.
No, I think
because the window definitely
there were
breaks.
multiple windows, and the one that he was trying to get through was only about a foot wide when she stuck that umbrella.
Yeah.
So he launches this motherfucker like the Hulk out this window, and he lands on a rock. At which point I said,
"Old man strength."
At which point I said, "You run down there and you make sure."
He said, "Now it's time to double tap." I was like, "He's good and dead."
You Highlander, cut that motherfucker's head off and get his powers, because you need to make sure he's dead.
Then you said there's no fucked up deleted scene or extra scene after the credits, right? I was like, yeah, we're not watching Halloween. He doesn't come back to life. But then the credits roll, and I'm assuming Nicole was grounded for the rest of her natural born life, right?
I mean, it's not her fault. But there are a lot of fucking red flags.
There were probably a lot of things that could have been avoided.
Oh, man.
I asked people on Facebook earlier what their childhood memories were about fear. And all the girls were like, that roller coaster, wild horses, oh my god. And then one guy answered me and he was like, Marky Mark's a fucking psycho. So apparently, girls remember it different than guys. Does it upset you? You seem upset with me.
No.
That I was into this movie when I was little.
I'm just upset that this dude's a fucking psycho and all this should happen.
But it happens all the time. It happens all
I think
the
that's
time.
what pisses me off more. Like, that people don't, like...
Here.
I feel like there's a lack of communication with these people because they don't want to hurt each other's feelings. But at the end of the day, you're going to get over it.
Little girls are inherently stupid, I believe.
Little boys are too.
And I say this coming from somebody who used to be a little girl. Now, I'm fairly intelligent, wouldn't you say? Right? Yeah. We've been together for a really long time. I mean, I was stupid and let a bunch of red flags happen to me too. Like, I mean, it didn't quite go this far, but I feel like I just avoided it. I feel like barely just avoided it. To the point that I was stalked. Like, this motherfucker once said, if you see me, I broke up with him. It was like, if you see me watching you from afar, I'm not stalking you. I'm just watching you. And I was like, oh, we need to get your ass a dictionary.
He thought he had a thesaurus.
No, he did not. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, there were a lot of red flags, and he was
now, I remember,
inappropriately older as Marky Mark he is here. And
I remember a time I didn't know this person. We were in a store, and I was looking at something, and you kind of
went white?
Tried to...
I was like, hey, let's go.
Tried to herd me away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember... All I remember...
You were very resistant. You would not leave.
I wouldn't leave, but then you kind of was like, hey, that's...
Yeah,
so-and-so.
I was going to throw up. I needed to leave.
You're like, that's so-and-so. And when you said it, I was like, I don't give a... I remember thinking, like, I don't give a fuck. And had you not wanted to leave so bad, that would have probably been an issue.
I had to leave. Like, things happen that I don't feel like I can say here. But, I mean, like, I feel like it was... We were edging close to fear territory here a couple of times.
Yeah. And just like old Marky Mark, that dude's a dickhead.
I'm smart. She's smart. We were very innocent girl next doors. Like, we fall for bullshit sometimes.
So would you say young boys, and to a certain extent, young men that haven't grown up yet, tend to think with their penises and leads them astray?
Right.
Would you say that young girls tend to do all their impulse thinking with their hearts, and they're not mature enough to...
Yeah, our hearts
so it's the same...
Our hearts don't have a bullshit filter on it yet. And in the beginning, he said a lot of really good things that made him seem like a really good guy.
But he was too good to be true, and she should have fucking listened to him.
He told her. He, kind of like what you said, the caveman protect me thing, like multiple times with every apology, all of his fuck-ups were about protecting her. And I want nothing but to be with you and protect you and take care of you forever. And he said a lot of the right things.
Yeah, he said a lot of fucking...
the people that actually want to protect you and take care of you forever...
Don't say that shit.
Don't necessarily... Like, I don't feel like you've ever said, I just want to take care of you and protect you forever. But I know that you do. By how you act. Like, somebody minorly slights me and you become very upset by it. Not in a red flag way. But I know you want to protect me, but you've never very creepily mentioned it.
I'm sure I've said that I would.
But not like that. But he says a lot of good things that, you know, confuse her early on, and then she never can recover from. And he does good apologies, and she's 16. We're stupid.
No, he gave bullshit apologies. She was just too young. She was just too young to realize it was bullshit.
Our heart doesn't have a bullshit filter on it at 16. were face value.
And he was
Look,
nothing but bullshit.
There is not a fucking girl alive that dated somebody in high school that has not looked their mom or dad in the eye and said, "You don't know him. He's a good guy." There's just not. There's just not. We have all been tearfully, nose to nose, fucking in our parents' face going, "You don't know him. You don't know." All of us.
Did you ever have that conversation about me?
No. Well,
I was a good guy.
I know. You are a good guy. I dated the wrong guy before you, and I got the red flag situation out of my system. What do you think?
About the movie?
Yeah, I guess.
It just pissed me off that all these people let it get this far.
It was inspired by a 1993 Indian film called Dar, D-A-R-R, Dar, a violent love story.
As much as people all around the world are different,
we're all the same.
They're all the fucking same. Like, you have the same types of people, the same fucking psychopaths that people have to deal with.
Now, this article says there's no denying that fear is an emotional ride through the nightmares of both teens and parents alike. Even after over 2 decades, this film still holds up as one of the sexiest, most dangerous films of the early 90s. Do yourself a favor and watch it. You know you want to. What do you say to that? You didn't want to?
I didn't really want to watch it.
And you're not happy that you did.
I wouldn't have recommended it, but looking at it now, I feel like people should watch it. Be like, hey, there are people in the world, like, not to that extent, that probably won't go to the extreme that old David douchebag here did, but there are people that manipulate other people, and you see it every day. Like, if you go to a department store or grocery store, you're going to see some of this happening to somebody.
You should watch it. You should watch it with your kids. Make them watch it. Be like, see, this is why when I tell you this guy's a douchebag, like, if we had kids, we would inevitably tell them the person you're dating is a douchebag, and they would tell us to get bent, and then they would go off and make their own mistake because we always have to do it ourselves.
But it wouldn't get this far.
I would hope not.
No.
But
because the car our kid would be in would have
thing.
a tracker. If they had a cell phone, it would have a tracker.
Anyway, the movie did very well. It had a budget of $6.5 million, and it was the surprise hit of 1996 and made $20.8 million at the box office.
They don't seem like much now, though.
But in relation...
But given its budget, it made money, so...
So, you want to take a chance at the...
Tomatometer! I'm going to say critics probably hit it with a 30.
A 44.
44. Audience hit it with a 50.
63.
That was a little further off than normal.
The critics' consensus is that Fear has an appealing young cast, but their efforts aren't enough to consistently distract from the increasingly overblown and illogical teen stalker story. The director kind of likened it to a teenage version of Fatal Attraction. I mean, a pet dies and everything.
I could see that.
So, are you ready for...
Ratchet Reviews?
You ready? Half a star. This one's a little bit longer, but not too bad. I'm a lady who loves a Lifetime movie, and even more than that, I love when Hollywood makes what is essentially a Lifetime movie with a budget. So I've known for a while that I was overdue to watch Fear. Without fail, women always mention the same thing to me. The roller coaster. Always with the wild horses and the damn roller coaster. Clearly I missed the boat. If I had been 13 and watched this movie on TNT while praying to God my parents didn't walk in the room, I bet I'd feel the same way my friends do about the damn roller coaster scene. But alas, I was 30 years old, and all I could think about was how Mark Wahlberg looked like Satan huffing glue as he magically yoinked Reese to climax at the top of the ride. Yeah, okay, guy, whatever. The main reason my labia and clit retracted into my body while watching Fear would have to be Papa Witherspoon. If I had a time machine, I would use it to go to the set of Fear and button up William Peterson's shirts. Yo, dude, your daughter is into bad boys, not dad boys, It might be time to throw away Marky Mark's huge condom wrapper and focus on wife number 2.
Took a weird turn.
It did, didn't it? So is Dad a bad dad? Did Dad want Nicole? Did he need to focus on wife number 2? She's
all over the place.
She got a lot. I think it's a she.
I said she.
Oh, she's got a lot of qualms. Half a star. I like trashy horror, but this was over the top, overacted, misogynistic bullshit. Unrealistic male fantasies, slut shaming, and problematic characters.
No, this movie wasn't made about male fantasies.
There wasn't a shit unrealistic thing about this. This was
other than that, it was a little bit over the top.
It probably went a little over the top, but you find the right guy with the right screw loose.
Oh, there was nothing right about him.
There were no screws tightened?
No.
Yeah. I mean, the stepmom did a little bit of slut shaming, but I don't know what unrealistic male fantasy,
I don't really know what they're...
if you're a male with your screws tightened, none of this should really be your fantasy, right?
No.
Half a star. Never has a movie made me want to curl up more and cease to exist in reality than this movie. Everything about it was just so gross. This was written by a guy.
I can't really disagree with him. Only I had a different reaction. I am very non-confrontational. But this shit just gets it irritates the caveman in me that this shit happens.
You're very non-confrontational until
I'm confrontational.
Somebody slights me. I feel.
Most of the big ones. I get irritated when I see other people getting shit on for no reason.
You got a little caveman in you still.
Because the same kind of rage comes out when people are yelling at other people that I am around.
Right.
And then I step in. And that's usually and then after the fact, I'm like, that is not, if it was just a normal confrontation, I'm trying to say it without saying it.
I know. 1 star. The most triggering movie of all time, Jesus Christ.
This might also be a dude.
Mike, yeah.
All right. Good job, Mike.
Yeah.
Way to not be a shitty person.
1 star. Also a dude, just before we get started. I feel like all your 1 stars are going to be dudes. Automatic 1 star for the scene where Wahlberg hits himself in the chest over and over again to trick Reese into thinking that her dad hit him. Remember when you were a kid and in order to mock someone with special needs, you slapped your arm against your chest and made weird noises? Don't judge me. Everyone did that when they were kids. We're not proud of it, but we did it. I just want to mention that that's in the review. That is not me speaking. That's pretty much what he was doing in this scene. If I needed a bruise on my chest to fool someone, you know what I'd do? I'd call up one of my friends. I'd say, hey, I need a bruise on my chest to fool some hot chick. I got a finger banger on a roller coaster, now I need to trick her. Can you hit me in the chest really hard? Every single one of my friends would slug me in a heartbeat. Because that's what friends do.
Oh, sounds like
Hell.
Dude has
a
problem.
Hell, ask some dude on the street. Everything else in this film is marred because of that scene. It's terrible, it's out of place, and it's out of the top 20 dumbest moments in cinema. It's one of the top 20 dumbest moments in cinema history. I truly believe that. I hate you. I hate this movie. The only thing I really like is the Bush songs. But here's the thing. That scene's not out of place. That scene sets up the fact that he's a real psychopath. He is really fucking nuts. It's not out of place. And also, what friend do you have? Every single one, in all caps, of my friends would slug me in a heartbeat.
I have one person that I would do that for. Meanwhile, while doing it, I would say, this is probably a bad idea, but I wouldn't do that for multiple people. And this dude shouldn't have all kinds of friends that would do that for him.
But if your friend said, hey, I need a bruise on my chest to fool some hot chick. I got to finger bang her on a roller coaster and now I need to trick her. Would you do it? That seems weird, right? I need you to hit me in my chest to fool some girl's dad?
No, nobody
That's
does that shit.
you got your own set of problems, Dan. 2 stars. That roller coaster ride was 3 minutes at most. No way he made her come that fast.
He had a little help. It was one of those old wooden roller coasters. Lot
Well,
of
here's
vibrations and bumpiness.
He had been laying the groundwork before. Like, the whole carnival, like, he was all over. They were making out. He was, like, pulling at the top of her skirt. Like, she was primed and ready to go.
Yeah.
He just had to put it in gear.
Yeah, well, see, I don't think this person's thinking about all that other stuff. Like, they didn't start from ground zero. Like,
yeah,
they were...
She was ready. She shoved his hand up there herself.
Yeah.
Which I never fucking noticed. And then held it there. She was making some of her own choices. 2 stars. Would you believe me if I said every time a girl tried to prove that Mark Wahlberg is hot, they said, "Have you seen Fear?"
Crazy. I get that one.
But he's hot until he's crazy. He's hot until he's crazy.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I can't defend the crazy, but...
I'm trying to think of a movie where it's the opposite. I know there are movies.
Attraction.
Yeah.
I don't know. We think we can change people. We think that if we just love you enough, you'll change. And we can help you. We can right your wrongs. We can fix your life.
Well, that's the problem. Nobody's
going to change for anybody.
Nobody has the power to change anybody. That person has to change themselves. And the only way they're going to change themselves is if other people say, hey, you can go fuck off until you start treating me better.
I know, but, we're stupid. 3 stars. Any movie where Reese Witherspoon gets finger blasted on a roller coaster while Wild Horses plays automatically gets 3 stars from me.
But notice it wasn't good enough to get the other 2.
No.
There were other qualifications.
But are there other movies where Reese Witherspoon gets finger blasted on a roller coaster to Wild Horses to get 3 stars? It's just this one, right? She wasn't typecast. Alright, this is a 5-star. But
how did this one make it?
I had to throw it in there. I know I'm not supposed to want to fuck Mark Wahlberg in this film, but I want to fuck Mark Wahlberg in this film.
No, you don't.
Because we're stupid. I can see where she's coming from. Having watched this when I was young and been like, until he goes psycho, a lot of it was very hot. A lot of it was like porn for little girls. Like all those reviews mentioned the roller coaster scene. When I asked on Facebook, every one of my girlfriends was like the roller coaster scene. Like, it was the hottest thing we had ever fucking seen at that point in our life. Now, coming into it as a 35-year-old lady watching it, I ain't gonna lie, it was still kind of hot. But I also see more of the red flags, and you're kind of team dad where you're like, okay, you need to get her a chastity belt. You need to lock her in the fucking basement. You need to put a contract out on that motherfucker. But, when you're a kid, you didn't really see it that way. What would you give it? It's time for your Ratchet review.
2.5.
2.5?
Because
as a film, like you rated the film, you're not rating
as
David.
a film, because I wanted to give it 0 stars.
Really?
But I can't because the movie doesn't suck. And I can't give it 5 stars because I don't really like it. But I feel like people should watch it. So I give it right down the middle.
I would give it 4.5.
Damn.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie, and somebody on Facebook today commented, still holds up. You don't even got to judge it by 1996 standards. You could judge that shit by 2020 standards.
That's true.
It's still a good movie.
But I have the same problems with all the people said the over-the-topness. I felt like they were so over-the-top because they didn't want the movie to be
Lifetime?
2-3 hours long.
Yeah.
Because there are people in the world that are David.
Yes.
That do things a little more subtly and basically gaslight people into thinking that they're good people until it's too late.
Yes.
But then again, it would take, to do it right, it would take longer to set up. And even though I said it started slow, it was really only like the first 15 to 20 minutes that you kind of slow.
Real time? Did this happen in like a week?
I feel like less than a month for sure.
Yeah.
Like things just went way too
real fast. I can't believe I was so young watching this.
I know girls are a little bit more mature at that age, but I don't feel like he could handle.
You think I would have learned a lesson, but I took nothing away from this. I didn't learn any lessons.
Well, we figured it out.
I had to make my own mistake.
We figured it out. Dumb guys think with their penises. Dumb girls think with their hearts, and he showed that he cared about her. He showed that at first he showed he respected her. You know, he just gave her like the good free samples.
It was his idea to go meet the family. He charmed over the whole family. You think he's done it before?
No.
You don't think so? You think it's just Nicole?
I think he has done similar things, but he didn't obsess over it like Nicole. Because even if he did get away with that, there's no way that person is out and about in the public like he was.
Do you think it was that she was kind of young and pure and sweet and innocent? Because like he had her picture on top of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
And like he never really had any of that growing up. Like his life was kind of more hard and rough and rugged, and she represented this thing that he couldn't really have, but he got.
Yeah, he would have been like the world's worst serial killer. Like that would have been his first.
I haven't seen You on Netflix, but it's apparently about this like guy that falls hard in love with these girls and stalks them. His name's Joe. And there's this meme going around on Facebook that's like, oh, Joe's the first stalker serial killer. Have you not met David? But I haven't seen You, so I can't comment on it. Alright, any final takeaways? Do you think if you had seen it as a kid that your feelings on it would be any different, or no?
No.
Would you have found the roller coaster scene hot as a young boy?
Yeah.
But not as a 37-year-old man?
I mean, it is kind of hot, but if you're like, dude, what I couldn't get over, I was like, he's fucking 23. Like, get your hands off of her, you psychopath. Like, it's just fucking gross. Like,
yeah. But when you're young, you don't think through any of that.
Like, as a girl?
Yeah.
Like, as a guy, like, if I was 23, like, I know I was dating you, but if we were dating and I like went back to high school and started dating some chick, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like I'm 5 years into school at this point.
Mm-hmm. Like there's only 2 years between us. There was only one grade level, 2 years, one grade level. So you were in college for a year while I was a senior in high school, and it was still kind of weird. We'd been together like 2 years. It was still kind of weird.
But you were a senior.
Yeah.
Because you started school early.
I know, I'm super smart. I'm super smart and still stupid. Our brain does not have to match our hearts.
I would say people probably should watch the movie.
I agree. And try to take something away from it. Unlike what I did. Learn from our mistakes.
So yeah, learn from the mistakes. But it is a little over the top as far as David's character and his craziness.
But just a little.
No. Because
I think it's over the top only in how quickly it happens. I think everything in the movie could legitimately happen in real life.
But to be as manipulative and like when David has his shit together, when he's not caveman style, he's very manipulative and methodical in how he does things. And I think that person could get away with all this. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it would take longer.
Oh, he's a bona fide psychopath.
a real version of David is what leads to serial killers, and that's why they get away with it so long. But in David's case, she would have been the only real predatory victim. Like, do I think he's killed other people? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because he had no problem killing his boy in that room.
Yeah, well, you don't run down somebody and snap their neck for your first kill.
Yeah.
You don't saw the head off a dog.
How he made it out of prison is
hard to
believe. It's hard to believe because as impulsive as he was, he doesn't make it out. Like, those people don't.
His homemade Nicole Forever tattoo, his first one.
Yeah, for real.
But do you remember in the 90s, like, people used to write, like, whoever they were doing Forever everywhere. Now, did this come before that? Like, were people doing that based off of this film?
No.
Like, were people just that fucking crazy?
I think people were doing it before.
Okay.
I think it's kind of where they got it from.
Alright. It's fucking weird.
Definitely a fucked up movie.
I never liked that. I always thought that was weird. Like, even when I was, like, little and in it, I didn't like that.
When he blows out all the ink on his hand?
No, I'm saying, like, when people would write, like, blah, 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 forever. I've always hated forever. It has always drove me insane.
It's a very ratchet thing to do.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Click, 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 click.
It did seem skanky. I didn't like it. I didn't like it growing up. Stop. Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I'll probably watch it again.
I don't have no need to watch it again.
Not with you.
I have no need to watch it again.
I need to have a girls' night, and we can pop popcorn and watch Reese Witherspoon get finger banged on a roller coaster and share our childhood memories.
Bonus episode.
Funny. We have 2 rest in pieces. 2 rips.
Oh, the dog.
The dog
died in real life.
Sure. He was
but they credited him.
His real name is Banner. He was Kaiser in the movie. And David Fredericks died in 1999. He was security guard Larry. Everybody else is still kicking.
Rest in peace to Gary.
Now, this was Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg's very first movies. And there were a couple.
Melissa Milano did another movie before this one. Probably. She was on Who's the Boss.
She was on Who's the Boss. Yeah, she don't count.
I think another love story that we should do next week is Tombstone.
Tombstone's a love story now.
Yeah.
Is it now?
Yeah. It could be a love story.
Between, what, a cowboy in his town?
Wyatt Earp was originally with...
It's definitely more of a friendship movie than a love movie,
No, but
right?
he falls in love with the actress.
Oh, he does, okay.
And eventually gives that up for the actress.
Alright. So we're doing Tombstone next?
Doing Tombstone.
Alright.
Might as well get a good
pick.
one out of the way.
Your pick. I know you hated the hell out of this.
I didn't hate it.
Or I got as much entertainment out of watching your face watch this movie as I did out of watching the movie myself. Like, your face throughout the whole thing was fucking priceless.
It was probably a lot of shaking my head no.
It was a lot of just...
And a lot of me...
And just, what the fuck?
A lot of me keeping a lot of comments in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't usually like to talk through movies. What the fuck?
I know.
Like, all these things are happening, I'm just like, save it for the podcast. Save it. Alright, that's been the roller coaster ride through Red Flag Land. That is fear. For Run It Back. I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah. You can follow us on our social media on Facebook and Instagram at Run It Back Pod, on Twitter at Pod Run It Back, and we have a TikTok that now has things on it. It is also at Run It Back Pod. Go make that shit blow up.
Leave your fucking house!